Hello, and welcome to Channel 9 News and the Late Night Show. Tonight we'll be talking about the conflict in Russia that has been escalating. Troops have positioned themselves at the borders, and Russia denies all accounts of troops' movements to the borders. Yet, the unidentifiable troops presumed to be acting under Russian influence. They are positioned at the borders of Russia and Ukraine and are not willing to comment on the current situation that is rapidly unfolding in this troubled region. The European Union has contacted Vladimir Putin to try to stop the fighting. Flight 370 was shot down above the area of Russia and Ukraine. The plane crashed with what is thought to be a Russian rebel missile, but is unwilling to take the blame for this conflict. They're blaming the Ukraine soldiers for this terrible act. Voice recordings of pro-Russian rebels apparently admitting bringing the airliner down, and social media activities such as Twitter point. Flight 370 was shot down above the area of Russia and Ukraine. The plane crashed as a result of Russian missiles subsequently launched at the airline. The Russians are denying all involvement and are unwilling to take the blame for this catastrophe. The Russians are blaming the Ukraine soldiers for this terrorist act. Ukraine forces have yet to comment on this ungodly tragedy. Voice recordings for the pro-Russian rebels apparently admitting to bringing the airliner down, and social media activities such as Twitter pointing to the rebel involvement. Now I'll take a short break and I will send it to our amazing weatherman.
Hi. A green screen is currently broken, so I'm going to have to charade this. But right by the Bronco head here is North Quebekistan. As you can see, high 82s, looking fairly clear. Bring you over here by the nice Bronco Mohawk right here. Looking like 73 and a half. Okay, 73 and a half is your degrees. Up in this general region is the North Pole. Santa Claus is working. He's doing his thing. That looks like negative 48,000 degrees. That's really cold. He's magical. Good for him. And that seems like our general weather for today. I'm going to send it back to Jefferson Steelflex.
Alright, thank you, weatherman. I will now send you to our news anchor in West Ukraine when he is talking to Ivan on his thoughts about what is going on.
Drovsky.
Hello.
How do you feel about the conflict happening in the Russian-Ukraine area?
I do not like it. I don't feel safe when I walk to my houses. I don't feel safe walking to a friend's house. All I see is soldiers, and I do not feel safe.
How do you feel about the 5,300 lives that have been destroyed during this conflict?
How many?
5,300.
5,300. That's catastrophic. I personally know one of my best friend's daughter is dead because of this, and I do not like this. Again, it's just such an unsafe feeling. I do not know if I'm going to be one.
What is your thought on the 1.5 million homes that have been destroyed during this conflict?
Well, for one, that's going to destroy our economy. First off, there's all these lives taken, so there's not even people to reconstruct the houses.
How do you feel about the Russian president, Vladimir Putin?
Vladimir Putin is... Shut up, I'm trying to talk. Vladimir Putin, he's a jerk. He's... What's the difference between him and Hitler? He's coming into our country, he's trying to take it over, and he's killing our people and destroying our homes, and that's no bueno. Right. America, they claim to be the world police, but they're not coming in to help us. And the UN and the EU should help us against the bullying country.
So-called Russian troops positioned at the border of Ukraine and Russia.
I feel like I'm living in a fishbowl. I can't walk down the streets without feeling like I have a gun put to the back of my head.
Second interview in Ukraine, but first I will send it to Tina Sale with our sports.
Hi, it's Tina Sale. Most recently in the sports world, we have the NBA and NHL playoffs taking place tonight. We have our hometown New York Rangers facing the Washington Capitals in Game 4, as the Rangers are down 2-1 in the series. Go Rangers! In basketball news, we congratulate Steph Curry on winning the first MVP title tonight. He will be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies in Game 3 as the series is all tied up. Thank you, and back to you, Jefferson Steele.
Thank you, Tina, for your sports report. We will now be sending you to West Ukraine with our second interview.
I am Ivan, the weatherman, and I have a few questions for a Ukrainian man who wants to keep his identity concealed. Our first question for you is, how do you feel about the overall event?
I feel that this is just a big media stunt. I do not believe Russia or Putin has anything to do with this event. Ukraine is looking for unnecessary attention.
And what about the troops surrounding?
I don't think it's troops. I think it's just a bunch of hooligans that the media is twisting, making them look like troops.
Okay. How about the 5,300 lives that have been taken?
You know, around the world, at any given time, 5,300 lives are taken. It has nothing to do with this.
And what about the 1.5 million homes being destroyed?
That's not true.
No.
Not true at all.
What makes you say that?
It's not. They're still there. Look for yourself.
Okay. And what are your feelings towards Mr. Vladimir Putin himself?
Vladimir Putin has nothing to do with this. He's doing a good job in Russia.
And do you believe that the UN and or America should get involved?
No, America doesn't need to help. Every time they go into another country and help, they end up messing it up worse.
That's our interview.
Tonight, I will be talking about two interviews that occurred tonight. First interview was about a pro-Russian view, and the second interview was about a pro-Ukrainian view. The annexation of Crimea is a very sensitive issue for both parties, but for different reasons. The pro-Russian view is that it is over-exaggerated and misrepresented compared to what is actually occurring. The Russian government claims that they have no involvement, and this is a result of rebels. While the Ukrainian view, there have been many acts of aggression towards them. Most importantly, over 5,300 people have been killed and scores of homes destroyed. Thank you. Now back to Jefferson Steelflex at the news desk.
Here we have pulled up a map of Ukraine. It specifically shows how the country is split up into two completely opposite views. On the yellow side, we have the pro-Ukraine citizens who have been staying loyal to their country and who call themselves Ukrainians. They want these Russian troops who claim to be non-governmental to leave Ukraine and give them their freedom. On the orange side of the map, we have the pro-Russian citizens who would not mind becoming Russian officially because they consider themselves Russian. Also, you can see Crimea, which was annexed by Russia because Vladimir Putin was interested in its oil and many natural resources. Crimea had an election which resulted in 90% choosing Russia to be in control. The European Union and the United States claimed that the election was not fair and that it was like people had a gun to their head while voting. They were so-called referendum held at gunpoint. Overall, Crimea was in the process of being annexed by Russia after the election. Today, the two countries still have a burning feud whether who should be in control of Crimea. Even today, Ukraine is in a battlefield between Ukraine and pro-Russian Ukrainians. Coming out tonight to Channel 39 News and the Late Night Show. I hope we all informed you on what is going on, taking place in Russia and Ukraine. If you have any more opinions, you can email us at channel39news@gmail.com. Thank you guys for coming out. Have a good night.
Safe when I walk to my house. I feel like I have to go fuck myself because I
Movements to the borders. Yet oh wow.
Feel about the events unfolding in this Russian.
stop.
Thoughts on Ivan.
You're not gonna remember anything.
I don't know what's going on.
The Ukrainian view is that they're... Stop.
How do you feel about the events unfolding in this Russian-Ukraine incident? How do you feel about the events?
And that's no bueno. I'm a bilingual ass Russian. Intruding in my house when I sleep. Don't you laugh. Hey, come back here. I'm talking to you. You don't walk away from my Russian. Come here. Come here.
Okay.
Wait, let me think of things to say.
You feel bad for the families that lost
No,
their homes?
fuck them. If they come into my house, yep.